for there. Okay, yeah, so I did have it backwards. Yeah, x is actually equivalent to y. That's why. Oopsies. Yeah, so if k equals 1, in other words, you've pressed 6, because it's going to go to the right of it equals 1. However, x doesn't equal 0. So if x equals 0, it's automatically true because it can't be 9 or 3. Because you want this to return false. This little thing here, you want to return false if you've pressed 6 and then you're pressing 4 now. So 9 and 3 eliminates it with there, because 9, 3, 6, and 3 will have k to equal 1. However, you don't want it to activate if it's 9 or 3, you only want it with 6. Which is why you have the knots down here. Because these are for the diagonal directions. And again with all that. And same thing here. Which is, again, why we use L and U, so that way the diagonals, because the diagonals have multiple places where they are. Because they're going to move first on the X and the Y, but you want to use L and U so that you can change the I and J. See, because this will change I here. But it'll use U and L up there. And then make sure if U and I, or I and U and J and L are equal to each other, then it clears all this and just goes back to RQ and you have to do it again. Make sure you can't just not make a move. Then at the end, it'll store the player's position into I and J, with I and J, so that after all the changing is done. Then if Y equals 1, this is for, again, so you can't move backwards on all that. And then it goes into bitmap, and then AI. And this is, if once you've lost it, it'll go down to the end thing and then go game over. Then let's see, edit. Okay, we've done bitmap, game, mapgen, and movement. All that's left is the AI. Now this is very complex and very, very long, so I'm probably going to skim through it quite a bit. Now this is to save time. So what this will do is, if v is greater than ji, it'll return -1, which is on the y value, so it'll return up. Down here it would be left. Or if it is not, it'll go 1, which is down, or 1, which is right. And this is for a specific circumstance dealing with one square, so that the AI doesn't go around and around in a circle. Now, this is the no, you've lost statement. If the AI is in the same position as the player, then it just goes to losing. And you've lost. Now, this is for the diagonal movements beginning part. So if v, as long as v doesn't equal I, because normally you would want the AI to move straight. If one of these two is equal, however, should this little circumstance come up where v is equal to I and that the square you'd want to go, because in other words they're on the same y thing here, but the way he wants to go on the x is blocked. You want this state to come up then, and same for that. Now, yeah, so this is checking a specific case here. This is very long stuff. Checking for 2 square systems. I remember right? Or something else, I'm not sure. This is to stow 0, O, and P, stow where where it was beforehand for bitmap, so that it removes the previous place, puts the appropriate little dot there, and then moves the player, or the AI. And then goes to the end so it doesn't read anything else. This eliminates the whole having to use a separate variable thing. This is again for the different thing. Oh yeah, this is for a 2-square system because otherwise they'll go around the same direction. This so that where the enemy will cut back on the square on the player. I mean, it's not much. It's no solution for a 2-square system, even with the player not being able to move backwards. So the only answer is to try and catch the player, or get the enemy 1 square away so he just goes round and round and round without end. And if you look at C and B up there, you'll know what's going on here. If it does not equal 1. Of course, that's a specific state up there, and then if it doesn't equal 1, and well, all that stuff. And blah de blah de blah de blah de blah. Yeah, this is going to be pretty long. The way I generally do AI is think of every possible situation and then write a little statement for it so it knows what to do. Oh yeah, this is the straight line statements. I originally had these labeled so that for saving time. However, if the diagonals wouldn't work that way, I kind of got to use them, except for I think down below. And then this is for the x. Oh yeah, this is in case they're equal, so and you can't move diagonal. We'll then first move in one direction if we can, and then try the other. However, if we can't, it won't do anything. Then this is the... Oh yeah, this is a... This goes up there. Oh no, this is the equal statement. This is the one where it's in the square. The other one was something else. Oh well. And then, yeah, that's where it goes to the RM and then FE. Yeah, and there you go. So hold on, let me check how much time I've done on this video. And it'll tell me, I guess. Okay, well, I can always edit it. Then to execute it, you go to Game, or no, MapGen, sorry, MapGen. Just execute. Loading screen. Making waiting 9 more full of waiting. Oh, there we go. As you can see, it'll create squares. Since it's on a random number, the amount of squares you'll have is randomly determined, as well as the place of the enemy and the player. Okay, there's the enemy over there, the 4 dots in the little shape there with the dot in the middle. Okay, that's right, that's how the enemy looked. And then the player will show up as a square. Wait, no, diamond shape, there he is. You see in the lower right there. And there's no real things that the enemy's gonna not catch me on. As I said, you can't go back, so I can press 2 here and it won't go anywhere. In order to go back down, I have to do that. Okay. Oh, whoops. Okay, come on, enemy. Come on. Come on, get over here. A little more. I can't really show you on this particular map. Oh gosh. I think he got me. Yeah, he got me. He wins. But yeah, anyways. A bit more complicated map. It'll prove a bit more challenging, but in any case, there's no real sequence to that. I didn't really make it with that intention. I was just having fun. But do what you want with it. Do what you want with it. So, yeah. Anyways,